Rain hammered the windows of the Grand Riverside Hotel. Amelia stood in the marble lobby, her emerald dress clinging to her skin, auburn hair hanging in damp waves. 3 years of running from her past, and tonight it might all catch up with her. The charity gala hummed on the 20th floor. She checked her reflection, wiping smudged mascara from green eyes that looked older than they should. Building her architecture firm from nothing had cost her everything, including the person she used to be. The elevator opened to reveal crystal chandeliers and Chicago's elite. Amelia took champagne from a waiter, moving toward the auction tables. Then she saw him. Tall, broad-shouldered, silhouetted against storm-dark windows. James Hartford. Her husband. The man she'd abandoned 3 years ago without explanation. Her breath stopped. She should leave. Run. Hide. But he turned, and his storm-gray eyes met hers with no recognition at all. Just attraction. Just interest. Just the look of a man seeing a beautiful stranger. He didn't know her. 3 years. A different hair color. 30 pounds lighter. Contact lenses instead of glasses. A new last name. She'd become someone else entirely. "You're soaked," he said, approaching. His voice still made her chest ache. "The rain caught me by surprise. Seems to be a theme tonight." He smiled, and God, that smile. "I'm James." "Amelia." She shook his hand, the contact sending electricity through her. "Would you like to get away from all this? There's a private lounge upstairs. Quieter. You could dry off." Every rational thought screamed danger. But something in his eyes, something sad and searching, pulled her forward. "Lead the way." The private lounge glowed burgundy and gold. Rain streaked floor-to-ceiling windows. James poured scotch, handed her a glass. "To unexpected encounters," he said. "To storms that bring strangers together." They sat on leather facing the city lights. He stretched his arm along the couch back, careful not to touch her. "What brings you here tonight?" he asked. "Work. Networking. I'm an architect." She tucked wet hair behind her ear. "You?" "Same. I run Hartford Systems." She already knew. She knew everything about him. How he took his coffee. How he couldn't sleep without white noise. How he'd thrown himself into building an empire after she left. "Impressive," she said. "Is it?" He gazed at the storm. "Sometimes I think I've built everything and lost what matters." The raw honesty surprised her. "That's heavy for a stranger." "Maybe that's why I can say it." His eyes searched hers. "There's something about you. Like you'd understand." Her heart raced. "What did you lose?" Silence stretched. James swirled his scotch. "Someone I loved. Someone who deserved better than what I gave her." The pain in his voice nearly broke her. "Do you believe in second chances?" he asked. "I want to," she whispered. "But some things can't be fixed." "Can't they?" He shifted closer, fingers brushing wet hair from her face. "What if fate brings someone back into your life in a way you never expected?" His face was inches away. His cologne, woodsy and familiar. The heat of his body. "James," she breathed. "Tell me to stop," he said softly, lips hovering near hers. "Tell me this is wrong." But she couldn't. Because despite everything, this felt right. Just as their lips were about to meet, her phone buzzed. Reality crashed back. She pulled away, fumbling for the phone. "I have to go. This was a mistake." "Wait." He caught her hand. "At least tell me your last name. Let me see you again." She looked at this man, her husband, who saw her as a stranger. Her heart shattered all over again. Some things are better left as they are. Good night, James. The elevator doors closed on his hurt expression. Amelia let out a shaky breath. James Hartford. Her husband. The man she'd left 3 years ago. The man who'd just almost kissed her like she was someone new. 3 days later, Amelia sat at her drafting table, staring at nothing. Sunlight cut across hardwood floors. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Ms. Rhodes? A crisp female voice. This is Patricia Wells, executive assistant to James Hartford. Mr. Hartford would like to meet with you regarding a design project. Amelia's world tilted. I'm sorry, what? Hartford Systems is expanding. We need an architect. Your portfolio came highly recommended. A pause. Mr. Hartford mentioned meeting you at the gala. He said you made quite an impression. This couldn't be happening. I don't think I'm the right fit. He was quite insistent. Would you be available this afternoon? Say no. Make an excuse. Run. But a treacherous part of her wanted to see him again. Needed to understand how he could look at her and not know. What time? 2 o'clock. Hartford Systems occupied a glass tower downtown. Amelia arrived in a charcoal suit, hair in a tight bun, thick-framed glasses. Professional armor. Another disguise. Patricia, silver-haired and kind-eyed, led her to a conference room. Through windows, the Chicago River cut through the city like a scar. The door opened. James walked in, navy suit, no tie, hair slightly disheveled. Those storm cloud eyes found hers, and recognition flickered across his face. But only from the gala. Nothing before. Ms. Rhodes. He extended his hand, voice warm and professional. Thank you for coming. She shook his hand, fighting the familiar electricity. I'm curious why you specifically requested me. We only met briefly. I did research. Your work is impressive. He smiled. And honestly, I couldn't stop thinking about our conversation. You understand something about success and loss that most people don't. Always perceptive, even when he was blind. Tell me about the project. They spent an hour discussing expansion plans. 3 new floors. Collaborative spaces. Redesigned executive offices. As James talked, passion lit his eyes. This wasn't just business. It was meaning. Purpose. Amelia sketched instinctively. Open floor plans. Natural light. Green spaces. Living walls. She could see it all taking shape. This. James leaned over her shoulder, pointing at a sketch. Too close. This is exactly what I imagined but couldn't articulate. His breath on her neck sent shivers down her spine. You have vision, she said quietly. So do you. He didn't move away. I want you for this project, Amelia. I need someone who understands what I'm trying to build. She should say no. Should protect herself. I'll need to see the existing structure. Take measurements. Review plans. Of course. When can you start? Next week. Why not now? His voice dropped lower. I could give you a personal tour. Show you what needs changing. This was dangerous territory. Being near him. Working with him. Pretending to be a stranger. But she'd already committed. Lead the way. The executive floor was all glass and chrome. Cold. Corporate. Soulless. James walked her through conference rooms that felt like interrogation chambers, offices that felt like prisons. You hate it, he said, watching her face. It's efficient. But you hate it. He stopped in his office, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Tell me the truth. It's a monument to isolation, she said before she could stop herself. You've built walls everywhere. Not just physical ones. The words hung between them. You see too much, James said softly. I'm an architect. I see how spaces shape people. And what do you see when you look at me? The question trapped her. Amelia turned to the windows, watching clouds roll across the sky. I see someone who's forgotten how to let people in. Silence. Then his reflection appeared beside hers in the glass. 3 years ago, my wife left me. No explanation. No warning. Just gone. His voice was raw. I gave her everything, and it wasn't enough. So I stopped trying. Stopped letting anyone close. Amelia's throat burned. She'd done that to him. She'd broken him. Maybe she had reasons you didn't understand, she whispered. Maybe. But she never gave me the chance to understand. He turned to face her, too close again. Do you know what it's like to love someone and have them disappear? To wonder every day what you did wrong? James, I can't. I know. I'm sorry. He stepped back, running hands through his hair. This is inappropriate. You're here for business, and I'm dumping my emotional baggage on you. It's okay. It's not. He looked at her with such intensity she could barely breathe. But there's something about you that makes me want to be honest. That makes me feel like maybe I could trust someone again. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I know who you are. We need to talk. Amelia's blood ran cold. Everything okay? James asked. Fine. I should go. I'll send over a proposal by Friday. Amelia, wait. He caught her wrist gently. Have dinner with me. Tonight. Not business. Just two people who understand each other. She looked at his hand on her wrist. At his face. At the hope in his eyes. I can't. Why not? Because you're my husband. Because I destroyed you. Because this is already too complicated. I just can't. She pulled away and walked out, leaving him standing alone in his glass prison. In the elevator, she checked her phone. Another text, dinner at Marcel's. 8 p.m. Come alone, or James learns everything. Someone knew. Someone was watching. And her carefully constructed new life was about to shatter. Marcel's was dimly lit, intimate, expensive. Amelia arrived at 8 sharp, scanning the room. A man in the corner booth raised his hand. Dark hair, sharp suit, cruel smile. David Chen. James's former business partner. The man she'd gone to for help 3 years ago. She slid into the booth, heart pounding. What do you want? Hello to you too, Amelia. Or should I say Mrs. Hartford? David sipped wine, leisurely. You look different. Almost didn't recognize you myself. But those eyes? Still the same desperate green. Cut to it. 3 years ago, you came to me. Said James was consuming your life, suffocating you. You wanted out but were afraid of him fighting the divorce. He leaned forward. I helped you disappear. New identity, new career connections. All very expensive favors. And you've collected on those favors. Multiple times. True. But now I want something bigger. His smile widened. James is about to close the Meridian deal. $5 billion. Once it's signed, Hartford Systems becomes untouchable. What does this have to do with me? I need you to sabotage it. Convince him to back out. Tell him the expansion is a mistake, that the building design won't work. You're his architect now. He'll listen. Amelia's stomach dropped. You want me to destroy his company? I want what's rightfully mine. James pushed me out 5 years ago. Took my ideas, my clients, my reputation. Now I take his empire. David's eyes glinted with malice. And you're going to help, or I tell him exactly who you are. How you used me to escape him. How you've been lying to his face for weeks. He'll find out eventually. Maybe. But do you want him finding out from me? I'll make sure he knows every detail. How you planned it. How you changed yourself to avoid him. How you almost kissed him at the gala while knowing exactly who he was. David paused. I'll destroy whatever chance you have at forgiveness. The room spun. You're blackmailing me. I'm offering you a choice. Help me, and I stay quiet. You can tell James the truth on your own terms, eventually. Refuse, and I burn your world down tomorrow. Amelia's hands trembled under the table. I need time to think. You have 24 hours. The Meridian signing is in 2 weeks. Start planting doubts. David stood, dropping cash on the table. Oh, and Amelia? Don't try to warn James. I have eyes everywhere. One wrong move, and he knows everything. He walked out, leaving her in ruins. Amelia sat frozen, mind racing. She could confess to James now, control the narrative. But would he believe her? Would he think she'd orchestrated everything from the start? Or she could sabotage the deal, buy herself time. Protect her secret a little longer. Both choices felt like betrayal. Her phone rang. James. Hey. His voice was warm. I know you said no to dinner, but I'm standing outside your building with Thai food. Security wouldn't let me up without calling first. Her chest constricted. James, this isn't appropriate. I know. But I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. And I think you feel it too. She did. God help her, she did. I'll be right down. They sat on the steps outside her building, takeout containers between them. The city hummed around them, alive with Friday night energy. Tell me something real, James said, attacking pad thai with chopsticks. Not about work. Something true. Amelia picked at her food. I'm terrified of being known. Really known. So I keep everyone at arm's length. Why? Because when people know the real you, they can hurt you. Or love you, James said quietly. She met his eyes. That's just another way of getting hurt. You sound like you're speaking from experience. I am. James set down his container. Someone broke your heart. I broke my own heart. The truth slipped out. I walked away from someone I loved because I was drowning. Because I didn't know how to ask for help. Because I was too proud and too scared. Do you regret it? Every single day. The vulnerability between them was suffocating. James reached over, took her hand. I walked away from my wife, he said. Not literally. But I disappeared into work, into building an empire. I thought providing for her was enough. I didn't see that she was drowning until she was gone. Amelia's eyes burned. She probably wanted you to fight for her. To see her. Then why didn't she tell me? Maybe she was afraid you'd choose work over her. That you'd resent having to choose at all. James squeezed her hand. I would have chosen her. Every time. The words shattered her. You don't know that. I do. Because losing her taught me what matters. And now, sitting here with you, I feel like I'm getting a second chance. Not with her. But with myself. With being the kind of man who shows up. His thumb traced circles on her palm. I know this is crazy. We barely know each other. But I feel more connected to you than I have to anyone in 3 years. Amelia's phone buzzed. A text from David, clocks ticking. She pulled her hand away, standing abruptly. I should go. Did I say something wrong? No. Yes. I don't know. She backed toward the door. This is moving too fast. I need space to think. Amelia, wait. James stood, confused and hurt. At least tell me what's happening. Why you keep running? I can't. Can't or won't? Both. She turned and fled inside, leaving him on the steps. In her apartment, she collapsed against the door. Tears finally came, hot and relentless. She loved him. Still loved him. Maybe never stopped. But she'd built this web of lies, and now David held the strings. If she sabotaged James's deal, she betrayed the man she loved. If she confessed the truth, she lost him anyway. There was no way out that didn't end in destruction. Her phone rang again. Unknown number. Hello? Ms. Rhodes, this is Memorial Hospital. James Hartford was just brought in. He listed you as his emergency contact in his phone. You should come immediately. The world stopped. What happened? Car accident. He's in surgery now. Amelia grabbed her keys, her heart in her throat. Emergency contact. After weeks of knowing her as a stranger, he'd put her name in his phone. She ran into the night, terrified she'd lose him before she could make anything right. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and fear. Amelia burst through emergency room doors, finding Patricia in the waiting area, mascara streaked down her face. Where is he? Surgery. Internal bleeding. They said the next few hours are critical. Patricia grabbed her hands. They found brake line damage. This wasn't an accident, Amelia. Someone cut his brakes. Ice flooded Amelia's veins. David. I need to make a call. She stepped outside, dialing David's number with shaking fingers. He answered on the first ring. Did you do this? Her voice was lethal. Do what? Don't play games. Did you hurt him? I don't know what you're talking about. But there was smugness in his tone. Though I hear Hartford had an unfortunate accident. Terrible timing, right before the Meridian signing. If he dies, I will destroy you. Careful, Amelia. Threats don't suit you. David's voice hardened. And before you get any ideas about going to the police, remember I have documented proof of your identity fraud. Those fake credentials you used to reinvent yourself? All traceable back to you. You'd lose everything. I don't care about everything. I care about him. Then help me, and maybe I'll make sure no more accidents happen. The line went dead. Amelia stood in the parking lot, rage and helplessness warring inside her. She'd brought this nightmare to James's door. Her secrets, her past, her cowardice. She returned to find Patricia pacing. Any word? Not yet. Patricia studied her. He talked about you constantly this week. Said you reminded him of his wife. Amelia's throat closed. I'm nothing like her. That's what he said too. That you were different, but somehow the same. Like meeting her again as a stranger would feel. Patricia's eyes were knowing. It's funny. His wife's name was Amelia too. Different last name, of course. But still. Patricia. I was his assistant when she left. Watched him fall apart. Took him 2 years to even pretend to be okay. She moved closer. And then you walk in, and suddenly he's alive again. Excited. Hopeful. It's either the universe's cruelest coincidence or something else entirely. Before Amelia could respond, a surgeon emerged, scrubs splattered with blood. He's stable. Lucky. Another inch and the internal bleeding would have been catastrophic. He'll need recovery time, but he'll live. Relief buckled Amelia's knees. Patricia caught her. Can we see him? Patricia asked. One visitor. Briefly. Patricia looked at Amelia. You should go. You're who he'll want to see. James lay in the hospital bed, pale and broken, machines beeping around him. Bandages covered his left side, and 4 dripped clear fluid into his arm. But his eyes were open, focused on her as she entered. Hey stranger, he whispered, voice rough. Amelia pulled a chair close, taking his hand. You scared me. Takes more than a car accident to get rid of me. He tried to smile but winced. Though someone's definitely trying. The police are investigating. I know who it was. David Chen. My old partner. James squeezed her hand weakly. Been trying to sabotage me for years. This is just his latest move. Why didn't you tell me? Didn't want to drag you into my mess. You've got your own ghosts. His eyes searched hers. But lying here, thinking I might die, all I could think about was you. How I'd never get to know you. Never get to tell you. Don't. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Don't say things you might regret. I won't regret this. He pulled her hand to his chest, over his heart. I'm falling for you, Amelia. I know it's fast and crazy and probably stupid. But I feel like I've known you forever. Like you're someone I lost and found again. The truth clawed at her throat, desperate to escape. James, there's something I need to tell you. I know. Her heart stopped. What? I figured it out. In the ambulance, when everything went dark. His eyes held hers. You're her. You're my Amelia. My wife. The room tilted. How long have you known? I suspected at the gala. Confirmed it when you talked about walking away from someone you loved. The way you said it, the pain in your voice. It was too familiar. He touched her face with his free hand. You changed everything about yourself. But you can't change your soul. Why didn't you say anything? Because I wanted you to tell me. To trust me enough to be honest. His voice cracked. Why did you leave? Why did you disappear? Amelia pulled away, standing, pacing. I was suffocating. You were building an empire, and I was just an accessory in your world. I tried to tell you I was unhappy, but you just work harder, buy me things, throw money at the problem. You never saw me. So you vanished. No note. No explanation. Just gone. I was drowning, James. And I was too proud to beg you to save me. I would have. If you just asked. Would you? She turned on him. Or would you have resented me for needing you? For not being the perfect, independent wife who never complained? Silence stretched between them, years of pain and misunderstanding thick in the air. You're right, James finally said. I made you invisible. Made myself the center of everything. And I'm sorry. I'm so goddamn sorry. I'm sorry too. For leaving the way I did. For letting you think it was your fault. For lying to you these past weeks. Why come back? Why take the job? Because I never stopped loving you. And I'm an idiot who thought I could be near you without falling apart. She moved back to his side. But David found out who I am. He's blackmailing me to sabotage your Meridian deal. That's why you had the accident. He's escalating. James's jaw tightened. We go to the police. He has evidence of my identity fraud. I'll lose everything. I don't care about the deal. I care about keeping you safe. The deal is your future. You're my future. He gripped her hand fiercely despite the pain. I lost you once because I chose wrong. I won't make that mistake again. The door burst open. David walked in, gun in hand, smiling like the devil. How touching. The happy couple reunited. He locked the door behind him. But I'm afraid this story doesn't get a happy ending. Amelia stepped between David and James's hospital bed. Put the gun down. And miss my chance at revenge? I don't think so. David kept the weapon trained on them. James took everything from me. My company, my reputation, my life. Now I take his. You were embezzling millions, James said from the bed, voice steady despite his injuries. I didn't push you out. You destroyed yourself. Semantics. Either way, you won. And I've spent 5 years planning how to make you lose. David's eyes gleamed with madness. Cutting your brakes was just the beginning. Once you're dead, I'll acquire Hartford systems in the chaos. Everything you built becomes mine. The police know about the brake lines, Amelia said. You won't get away with this. They suspect. They don't know. And when a grief-stricken ex-wife murders her estranged husband before turning the gun on herself? The case closes itself. He smiled. Your secrets make this so convenient, Amelia. The identity fraud, the lies. You're the perfect suspect. Amelia's mind raced. Hospital staff outside. Locked door. James too injured to move. David blocking the only exit. You helped me disappear 3 years ago, she said, stalling. You gave me a new identity. Why? Because I knew eventually I could use it against you. Against him. David laughed. You were so desperate, so lost. Easy to manipulate. I just had to wait for the right moment. You used my pain. I used your stupidity. You really thought you could reinvent yourself and he'd never find out? David moved closer. Love makes people weak. Makes them sloppy. No. James's voice cut through the room. Love makes people brave. In one fluid motion, Amelia grabbed the metal 4-stand and swung it at David. The gun fired, the bullet embedding in the wall. She swung again, connecting with his wrist. The weapon clattered to the floor. David lunged for it, but Amelia was faster. She kicked it toward James's bed, then tackled David. They crashed into medical equipment, machines beeping in alarm. Security! James shouted, hitting the call button. Code Gray. Room 342. David threw Amelia off, scrambling toward the gun. She grabbed his ankle, pulling him back. He kicked her face, her vision exploding with stars, but she held on. The door burst open. Security guards flooded in, pulling David away. He fought like an animal, screaming obscenities, but they wrestled him down. Amelia crawled to James's bedside, blood pouring from her split lip. He pulled her onto the bed despite his pain, holding her as police officers arrived to take David away. You're insane. David screamed as they dragged him out. She's a fraud. She lied about everything. And you tried to murder someone, a police officer said flatly. You have the right to remain silent. The room cleared. Just Amelia and James, wrapped around each other, both broken and bleeding and alive. You could have been killed, James whispered against her hair. So could you. She pulled back to look at him. I'm sorry. For all of it. For leaving, for lying, for bringing this nightmare to your door. You saved my life just now. You saved mine 3 years ago. I just didn't see it. Amelia touched his face gently. You gave me space to become who I needed to be. I hated you for it. But the distance let me find myself. Build something that was mine. And now? Now I know who I am. What I want. She kissed his forehead. If you'll have me. There's never been anyone else. There was only ever you. James cupped her face. But things have to be different. We can't go back to what we were. I don't want what we were. I want what we could be. Amelia leaned her forehead against his. Two people who've both grown. Who've both been broken. Who choose each other anyway. The Meridian deal. We'll wait. You need to heal. We need to heal. The police will want statements. Your identity fraud will come out. I know. I'll face it. She took his hand. No more running. No more lies. You'll lose your architectural license. Maybe. But I'll still have my skills. My talent. And I'll have something more important. She looked at him, really looked at him. I'll have the truth. And I'll have you. James pulled her down into a kiss, gentle and deep and full of promise. When they broke apart, both were crying. I love you, he whispered. The person you were. The person you became. All of it. I love you too. I never stopped. What happens now? Amelia settled against his chest, careful of his injuries. Outside the window, dawn broke over Chicago. The storm had passed, leaving the city washed clean and new. Now we heal. Together this time. She closed her eyes. No more strangers. No more secrets. Just us. Just us, James echoed, holding her like he'd never let go again. And for the first time in 3 years, Amelia felt like she'd finally come home. 6 months later, they stood in the renovated Hartford Systems building. Glass walls let in floods of natural light. Living green walls brought nature inside. Collaborative spaces replaced cold offices. It was everything they'd designed together. You know what's funny? James said, arm around her waist. I thought I was hiring a stranger. Turns out I was hiring my wife. Ex-wife, Amelia corrected. We finalized the divorce last month. Only so we could do this. James dropped to one knee, pulling out a ring. Not the one she'd left behind. Something new. Amelia Rhodes, the woman who saved my life in more ways than one, will you marry me? Again. For real this time. She pulled him up, kissing him breathless. Yes. 1,000 times yes. Around them, Hartford Systems employees applauded. Patricia wiped tears from her eyes. Think we'll get it right this time? James asked against her lips. We'll get it wrong sometimes. But we'll get it wrong together. Amelia smiled. That's what second chances are for. They kissed again as the sun streamed through the windows they designed together, illuminating a future they'd build side by side. This time, there would be no secrets. No strangers. Only love, hard-won and honest and real. The end.